Right, welcome everybody to another very punctual, very exciting Arcadia Roundtable. Thanks for joining us again. I have with me, returning after a little bit of time away, the jet-lagged Luke Steele. Luke, how you doing?
Good, yeah. I think I'm still probably a little jet-lagged, but I'm not too bad.
You look tired, man. You look tired. You don't look as tired as I do.
Yeah, so doing well. Slight post-holiday blues, but we move.
We move. I'm sure you had a really awesome time from the pictures that I've seen of it, but we'll get into it a little bit because it does tie into our gaming podcast. What was the Tokyo Game Show that happened while you're out there and all the rest of it? We're also joined by the life-lagged Deadly Headley. Deadly Headley, how you doing?
Hello. Yeah, very good. Thank you, mate. Very good. Glad it's the weekend. Glad to be on another podcast with you guys, even though the subjects are a little bit hairy, but we'll get to that. All good.
Hairy subjects. That's the kind of subjects we need. We can untangle some hair and get into what's been happening over there. I can guess which one you're talking about as well. But as is our custom here, talking about games is way more fun than talking about what weird corporations are doing. So we're going to get into what we've been playing for the weeks. It'll be a little bit different when it comes to Luke because Luke has been away. He might have got some gaming in. I'm sure he'll have some things to tell us about, but he'll have some other relevant conversations to be had. So we'll start with Deadly Headley. Deadly Headley, what have you been up to this last? How long has it been since you were on? 2-3 weeks?
It's been, I think it's been 3 weeks. I've missed the last 2 shows. Oh. In that time, I've actually managed to play quite a bit, which is nice. Where do I start? I might start with progressing in Indiana Jones. I made quite a lot of headway with that. I got out of Giza, and I've gotten to the Himalayan section.
Well, spoiled. No, it's fine. It's just a location. I'm okay. But tell me, so Indiana Jones, right? You played it for a bit near a launch, I'm assuming, and dropped off it for a little while.
I did. Yeah. One thing I will mention is I managed to get path tracing working on my PC and running at about 90 FPS, and it was quite nice, but it wasn't as stable as it was without path tracing on. Mm-hmm. So I ended up sort of tinkering with settings and actually locking it at like 120 and just playing it sort of quite nice fidelity, but without all of the extra sort of ray tracing, path tracing, ray traced hair.
Everything low apart from the hair. Low textures, minimum, no shadows, no global illumination, all the ray tracing off. Reflections, now I'm a vampire. Give me the good hair.
But yeah, I'm liking it a lot. I really enjoyed getting back into that. It's still a game that I'm sort of dipping in and out of quite a lot. But yeah, that's been really nice. I just got past do you remember this scene in it might have been
I'm not helpful. Don't listen to it. It's not.
No, it was one of the sort of cutscenes that was shown from Indiana Jones when they're in the Himalayas. There's the guy doing the choo choo impression. That one, I've just gotten past that bit. So yeah, I don't know how much more of Indiana Jones I've got to go, but yeah, that was really fun.
Are you planning to jump into the DLC?
I am, although I'm a little bit annoyed that my 10% discount has been taken away, but we'll get to that We'll get to that. That's for later.
That's news to me because I didn't read the list properly. Okay. Oh, my 10%.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. There's a lot wrong with that, but yeah, we'll get back to that. Yes, I would like to pick the DLC up and play that. Next one, what else have I played? I played a little bit of Skate, the new free-to-play Skate game. It's all right. There's a lot of loot boxes, which is kind of gross. But it's a free-to-play game, so it's what you expect.
It's going to be something gross, isn't it?
Surprise mechanics. It's a bit rough. I quite like the art style. It sort of feels like Fortnite and Skate had a baby, and I actually don't hate it. Yeah, I think it's quite cool. It is quite fun to play, but yeah, I don't know if it will keep me really. I have also played a bit of Lego Voyages with Mrs. Deadly. That's been lovely. I really like that. And if you like couch co-op-y type games, I definitely recommend checking that one out.
That's recent, isn't it? When did that come out?
Pretty. I want to say like September 10th ish, something like that.
Yeah, the launch trailer was a couple of weeks ago, so yeah, it's only nice.
It's really lovely, and it's great for my partner likes playing games, but she doesn't play a hell of a lot of them. She is right now, I believe, playing some Zelda. It might be Tears of the Kingdom. It might be Breath of the Wild. I'm actually not sure. She's decided to pick back up. She likes Mario Kart. She'll play Mario Party with me, but we don't play a huge amount together, and she doesn't play shooters or anything like that. Split Fiction, It Takes Two. She will take a little bit more time sort of solving stuff than I will. I think that's sort of like that gamer brain that is built into people who just fucking live playing games. It sort of works quite differently. Whereas Lego Voyages is so intuitive, so user-friendly. Like any of your sort of respective partners out there who don't necessarily game very much but would like to play a game with you, Lego Voyages is definitely one that I would recommend. It's really lovely.
I mean, that works for me. Luke, that's a little array of games. Have you had any? I know you've done Indiana Jones at the very least, but are you familiar with them? Got anything for Deadly Headley?
Yeah, I mean, Voyages looks really interesting actually, because I think I saw it briefly and I was like, and then all I've heard is like super positive feedback about it. Like everybody's like, oh, it's actually really, really, really good. Like unexpectedly sort of moving in parts, apparently, when you get further into it as well. So
I'm still very early on.
The blue brick melts down. I've spoiled it for everyone.
Yeah, it's like the end of Toy Story 3 or 4, whichever one it was.
But I think because it's the way it tells story is largely through sort of action that's happening on screen, or you might get sort of emotive sounds made. There's no sort of actual dialogue. It's very sort of simplistic but beautifully delivered kind of thing. It's just really charming. It's just it's really nice. I need to get further into it for sure. Like we've only sort of played the like the sort of the first section or two of the game. But yeah, I'd check it out. It's really nice.
Yeah, I've not done Split Fiction yet. That was on my to-do list with the missus for like fucking ages. Because we played It Takes Two, which we finished like just after Split Fiction came out. So it was such an obvious thing to move on to. But I haven't spoken to her since then. So that was like maybe February. I think she's still around somewhere, but you know, is what it is. That's cool. And maybe Lego Voyages is in my future as well, because I do like a good. It's rare that you get the couch co-op ones, and when they do land, they land in a different way to the online experiences that we've got. So yeah,
it's like 18 quid as well. It's not a lot. It's quite cheap. So.
There we go, Luke. We're going to go more broad with you, because I know you took your Lenovo with you, and you may have played some games while you're over in Japan, but you've also experienced other things around the world as well. Tell us about your last couple of weeks.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind, really, in a good way. I was in Tokyo with sort of excursions out to other bits of Japan, so I went to Osaka and Kyoto as well, which is awesome. And yeah, it's just what a place, what an amazing place to be, especially as a tourist. Such a different culture and environment from anything that I think most Western people are used to. And my bank account is in a rough state after that trip, as is to be expected.
I don't believe you.
Well, it's in a rougher state anyway. But yeah, it's just a fantastic time. I just absolutely loved it. And just did so many things, including go to for one day to the Tokyo Game Show, which was like really good. And then also like I'd be happy not to go back to something like that in another way. So like I'm really happy I had the experience, but it was one of those days where you realize like, okay, like conventions probably aren't for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not really like, and I knew this going into it. I knew like it was going to be busy, for example. Yeah, it's really busy. It's really on the public days. It's really busy.
Mm-hmm.
But the experience of it was, really cool, and it was cool to be in there and sort of like I have never been to E3, obviously, but it's as close I think to E3 now as anything else. So that was really cool. Like seeing the some of the booths in there that publishers and developers had up and stuff like that, and the lengths they'd gone to. It was awesome. It was awesome.
So you said before you went out there, you said you probably weren't likely to queue up to get your hands on the sticky controllers at the end of it. But what did you get to see and do on the day?
So as I said to you, like I wasn't going in with the intention of playing anything, and I didn't play anything because the queues were just massive. Like I think you could probably, for some of the bigger titles, so if you wanted to play like Requiem, for example, or Onimusha or Crimson Desert was quite busy as well. But if you wanted to play those, you were probably looking at about 2 to 3 hours of queuing to get your hands on them. So that like it's just not what for me. I mean, maybe it is for some people, but it's not like I'm not fucking standing in a queue for 3 hours to play 20 minutes of Requiem when it comes out in February, January. I don't even know. Like it comes out soon. But so it was just like it's kind of going around and looking at all the booths and looking at some gameplay of people actually playing the games and stuff, and then about 2 hours sat in the merch area just thinking like, oh, I should probably get that, and then also that was unexpectedly very busy as well. Which sounds silly because you'd think people are buying merch, but it was like there were it was queuing in that as well. There were so many people. So yeah, it was mainly just that. I didn't stay we didn't stay for the full thing for the entire day. We're pretty tired as well because you're walking every day in Japan anyway. So
do you have any merch that you can share with us? And by share, I mean send it to me in the post. I don't mean show people now. I don't care for that. None of them get to see it. Send me something good.
That's not what the people want.
I've got lots of
stuff.
Like not specifically from. I don't have anything nearby specifically from TGS. Apart from, no, I don't. I went to a pop-up store in Osaka, which was a Metal Gear store. So I got like stuff like these coasters, like these drinks coasters.
So
pretty cool.
Literally a store just dedicated to Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, it was a pop-up store just dedicated to Metal Gear. I did also win. I won this Ditto.
In your claw machines, yeah.
On my claw machine. I won way too much stuff, actually. So we had to get another suitcase because my giant duck wouldn't fit. Like, and I want this fucking ginormous duck. Like people have seen the picture, but what you haven't seen is afterwards we went back the next day and like we were trying to win more stuff for my wife. one like a Snorlax, which is sort of like I can't even do the frame, but it's like fairly big. It's bigger than the Ditto, but it's not massive. And then I saw there was this like what I thought was like a giant chicken, right? Like a bit like the duck, but in a chicken. And I was desperate to win it, so I was there for about 20 minutes, and I won. And I was like, awesome. And I pulled it out, and it was actually not a chicken at all. It's like this. It's this fucking ginormous tempura prawn. Like it's absolutely massive. It's absolutely massive. It's like I don't know. It's probably about 5'5" when you like put it out. And I was kind of like, oh, like I'm glad I won because pretty good that you win a claw machine, but I didn't want a tempura prawn.
Especially not a 5'5" tempura prawn.
Yeah, like maybe a small one would have been fine, but
I actually don't know many people who would want that.
Yeah, I know, which is why I was so disappointed by it because I was like, I've just spent like 25 minutes trying to win what I thought was like this ridiculously sized chicken.
The whole thing was a ruse. They've had this prawn for 6 years and nowhere to get rid of it.
It was like folded. It was like folded up, and like I was like, oh, I think so. So I don't have many, but I mean, I got a lot of merch. I bought a load of retro games as well, which is like the one of the funnest things to do there is to just go in some of these stores and like see like just the swath of incredible like bits and pieces that they have, and kind of be able to relive some of the stuff you missed out on, I suppose, in your gaming life and some of the stuff you have experienced. So that was cool. But
yeah, no, I'm much the same for the crowds and the queues. Don't do it for me, but I'd like to visit and experience it someday, as well as all the rest of the things that you've been up to, including that plate of food that you had to go back for.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, there was a ramen place called Mutikia, which I'd heard about. I can't remember where I'd heard. I think I just found it online, and some people had recommended it, and it kind of like it's the thing. Like when you get to Tokyo, like the thing in Tokyo is like everywhere is busy all the time. Like it's like per square mile, it's like the most densely populated city in the world, and it feels like it because no matter what time it is, and no matter where you go, everything is busy. Like if you're on the tube, the metro, it's always busy. It's always pretty full. And this place, like it, obviously, ramen in Tokyo, like there are thousands and thousands and thousands of places. But this one pretty much has a perpetual queue. Like no matter what time you go, even if you're going outside of kind of the prime lunch times and evening times and such.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went and I can't remember which day, it was maybe 4 or 5 days in. And we'd had like Ichiran like 2 days before that, which is like
a problem from the sounds of things. Oh, it's not. I misunderstood entirely. Carry on.
Which is like Ichiran's like the ramen McDonald's of Japan, basically. So I say that like if you go there as like someone who doesn't live in Japan, it's like the best ramen you'll ever have because obviously it's just so much better than anything that in most of the West does. But it's pretty like above average for Japan. So we had that a couple of days prior, and then we went to this other ramen place, which is the one we revisited, and it was just like it just changed my life. Just absolutely changed my life. It was just the best thing. It was probably the single best like thing I've ever eaten. It was unbelievable. And it was, I think a bowl was like 1,600 yen. So about £7.
We're a culinary podcast now. Give me more. Give me more about the flavors. What's going on?
It's a tonkotsu ramen, which is like a pork broth, basically. It's and their ramen's like their broth was like super rich and garlicky and a little bit spicy, but not that spicy, and like so flavorful. And then their noodles were like just like nice and thick, but not too thick, and they held on to the sauce really well. But then the thing that they did, which like blew my mind, was obviously you get like chashu, right? That's like a common ramen topping. But here, like you got 3 pieces and they were literally they were like this thick each. So they were like really chunky.
Mhm.
And it was like the only thing I could like just like compare it to is a thing I also had in Japan previously, which is Wagyu, which is beef, obviously. But if you have Wagyu beef, it will change your life because you just kind of put it in your mouth and then pause. And then and then it just sort of dissolves. Like it's so like rich and delicious. It's so tender. And this pork was very similar in texture, which I've never had for pork, because pork is notoriously easy to like overcook or whatever. And it was just delicious. Like it's hard to describe how good it was, but it was amazing. So yeah, I mean everything that I had over there was incredible. And the unsung hero continues to be Japanese convenience stores, which are just amazing. Convenient. Yeah, like actually convenient, but also with like the best convenience food you'll ever have. And it's just, you know, you come back to Heathrow and go to a fucking WH Smith and you just want to shoot yourself because it's just, you know, it's just so depressing.
It's like £9 for a sandwich.
Yeah, £9 for the most pathetic free cheese sandwich you've ever seen. You know, the shittest bread you've ever had, and you get to pay for the privilege of it. So yeah.
I'd love to try Wagyu. You've made me very hungry. I was going to eat. Well, I'm obviously still going to eat after the podcast, but you've sort of made me regret that decision now. So
yeah,
thanks.
No, that's all right. But yeah, if you can have Wagyu, definitely Wagyu is interesting because like in most places you go to get it, you'll only get like a small serving, like a couple of strips. And I was always like, oh man, no, come on, like give me like the full. I want a steak, you know, like I want the full. And I don't think you could have, like, people couldn't have, like, it's so fatty.
It's not meant to be eaten that way.
Yeah. You only need like a bit. And you like, that's enough. That's the most delicious thing I've ever had, but that's enough. So yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Right.
I recommend it.
That sounds awesome, and I take your recommendation on board, and I will go there one day and have that. I'm going to wrangle it back around to gaming because I think we need to do that. But if you want to hear more about Luke's expedition, I'm sure I'd be happy to tell you more about what delicious things have changed his life over the last couple of weeks.
Majority. I've just assumed that everything has when I've been over there, really. So.
Yeah. Let's talk
what
about.
Have you been playing, actually?
Oh shit! For me, I want to ask you first if either of you sampled Call of Duty, the new one.
No.
Oh, I did. It's all right. It's all Call of Duty's ever going to be, right? It's all right. Yeah. The maps have a very old kind of vibe and feeling to them. The open beta that's running at the moment is it's fairly restrictive in terms of there's no custom games and things like that. And the only time I really enjoy Call of Duty is when I jump in with a bunch of people around the community and play it in that kind of format. Jumping into the public games is a bit bleh, but that's what's available right now. It feels all right to shoot. It feels all right to move. It's got its little wall jumping thing. Is okay. A lot of the maps have like death trap pits that you can fall down. Well, that I fall down quite a lot. Besides that, I'm not really a big COD person, so I don't have masses to say about it. But it is one of the things I've been playing this week. What we didn't do was check out what Luke has been doing, because you did take your Lenovo with you. I'm going to talk Hades 2, by the way, in a minute. But we skipped over what you've been doing with that and your other devices over the last bit of time. So what have you been up to?
Yeah. So I took it over, which was awesome. Obviously, on the flights that long, variety is a spice of life. So it was nice to have it there. And I played. I think on the way there, I played like a bunch of Gears of War Reloaded, which was really, really cool to play that on. Like, you know, I know it's only Gears of War Reloaded, right? So it's not exactly like, you know, it's not path traced Indiana Jones, but it's like a good looking game still. And like when you can play that on like a handheld and you're getting like 70, 80 FPS on it at like high settings, and it's in HDR, and you know, like it's great. Like it's a fantastic experience. So And it was cool just to. I haven't played Gears of War, the OG, for many years now, so it was the first time I've revisited it in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool. And then when I was there,
wait. Does it hold up? Because it's obviously,
I think
it's
so.
an Xbox 360 launch era game. You've not played it for a while.
Yeah, no, it does hold up. Yeah, no, it does. It's like this. I think the gameplay of Gears is pretty timeless in my mind. Like, I think you didn't they didn't need to tweak. It doesn't need to be changed that much. I mean, if they wanted to, like, if the coalition wanted to, like, you could do. But I think it just still feels great to play that now, even all these years later. So I think it holds up very well. And like the fidelity tweaks that they've done for Reloaded are like not mesmerizing by any means, but it does make a nice difference to the game. So it's good. It's it's Gears. All Gears. Like, even when Gears isn't that amazing, it's still good. Like, it's still, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like even stuff like Judgment. I know people have their views on Judgment, but like, it's still a pretty good game. Judgment, like, in isolation, it's still a pretty good game. So
it's not Resident Evil 6 good. Like,
well, what is? Yeah. So so I played some of that. I played a bit of Hades 2, which we can talk about. Not that much, but I did. As in, I didn't play much of it, but I played a bit. And then I also played Silent Hill F.
I want to check that out. How is it?
Yeah, so it was interesting because I was like, okay, like before it came out, I picked it up anyway, and I was going to wait until I got back, obviously, to play on PC, on big PC. And I was like, there's no way that, it's a UE5 game. Like, even though the Legion Go 2 is a really powerful device, like, UE5 is just notoriously demanding, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw a video of someone who was playing it on Steam Deck, and they were actually getting very good, what I would consider to be very good performance on that. At not even like at low settings and like, 360p upscaled, like a kind of medium-ish settings with like maybe like a balanced FSR mode, something like that. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out on the Legion Go 2, and it runs again deceptively like well. I could do like medium high it on native res, FSR balanced, and get 40 to 60 FPS on that. So very playable experience, particularly on a handheld. So I played like about an hour and a half of it on my flight back, and a bit when I was in Japan as well. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's it feels very Silent Hill, which is probably the best compliment I can give it, even though it's not in any of the settings that are familiar to Silent Hill. It still feels very strange and unnerving and atmospheric and all of that stuff. I'm not so sold on the combat yet, which has been a common criticism of it. The combat so far is not, it's just not mechanically very interesting. It's kind of basic is probably the best way I could describe it. And it's not particularly satisfying just to do like the normal combat stuff. So dodging or, just actually striking things. And it's all melee combat. There are no guns in this, as far as I'm aware. So
hypothetically, right? I'm sitting there. It's October, it's spooky month. I'm thinking I need a horror game. Yeah. Do I get Chronos or do I get Silent Hill F?
I don't. I mean, right now, I'd have to say you have to get Chronos because that's the game I finished, and I know how good it is. Silent Hill F, I don't know because I haven't played enough, but certainly the first impressions are very strong from F. And that's coming from a massive Silent Hill fan. So I'm optimistic about this, and apparently the game, sort of the second half of the game, is much better than the first, which bodes well because I'm enjoying the first bit of this anyway, right? So I still haven't tried it on proper PC yet, but I will do. So I've been playing that. I've played quite a lot actually, considering I've been on holiday. I don't know what the fuck I've been doing otherwise. So I played that, and then I also picked up, because I am a shill for Nintendo and Mario, I picked up Galaxy 1 and 2.
Sorry, was that audible?
Yeah, that was. You gotta mask that in the future. We can't be having this Mario slander going on all the time. We need to change this. So now, luckily, I picked that up in Japan, the copy, and I think by the time, I don't know how much it is brand new in the UK. I think it might be 50 quid. But I ended up paying something like £27 for it, equivalent in Japan, because I got tax off and the pound's really strong against the yen. So I got it was a good deal. I also, just sidebar, I also at the same time I picked up Final Fantasy Tactics, which I haven't played yet, but I picked that up on Switch. So I played a bunch of Mario on the plane back, and it's great. It's Galaxy, which is one of the best platformers ever made. So I'm not really going to say much more about it, but that was cool. And then finally, I also played 30 minutes of Ghost of Yotei earlier, which we can talk about briefly.
Galaxy, but we are going to do Ghost of Yotei, and we will go straight onto it because we may as well. But so the Mario Galaxy update, is it like a worthwhile update? Do you think that they've earned their money, or is it just the game that you know already?
Yeah, no, I think we're gonna have to go back onto this topic of value is subjective, I think. But
we'll be getting back to that for sure.
yeah, definitely. I think it's they have clearly made some effort with this version, right? Digital Foundry did a video, and I could see this even before the video when I just loaded it up. Obviously, it runs higher resolution than I think it's native 1080p in handheld and native 4K on screen. And they've kind of gone in. It's sort of a light touch remaster, but to the extent where
you could have said no at the start, right? No, they've done fuck all really.
They've gone in and they've reworked basically the entire textures of the game to make it look better when you up-res it. So it's not as if they've gone in and, done a Dead Space remake or anything like that. But they have made some effort to try and make sure that it does have a good uplift over the originals. So I wouldn't say in isolation that if you're buying it because you were like, oh, I bet this is a absolutely cracking remaster of these two games, I wouldn't say that it's worth buying because of that. I think if you were either you'd missed the games originally, you'd never played them, or you're a huge fan of the games and you haven't played them for a while, it would be worth it then to go and pick it up, because you do get two of the best platformers ever made in that package. But yeah, don't go into it expecting like it's Nintendo, right? So it's not as if they've gone, we've rebuilt it all, and it looks like it's like Galaxy in the Odyssey engine or anything like that. Because it's not. It's
but they have they've noticeably touched it up beyond just going into a config file and being higher resolution.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as if they've just gone, okay, we've got the Wii versions, and basically you're just getting those at 4K.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
I kind of expected them to be. I expected them to just do that. They haven't done that. They've actually gone in and gone, we'll upgrade your res, but we'll also rework kind of the entire texture portfolio of the game so that when you do look at it in this resolution, it actually looks good. It doesn't look like shit. So
fair, right. Let's touch on the other one that you mentioned, because it's on our thumbnail and it is a title, but there's not going to be a whole lot that we can really say about it. Apart from you can tell us the ending. How does Ghost of Yotei end?
I think everybody's fine in the end.
Everybody's fine. It was all a misunderstanding. Whatever the story is, I don't have a clue.
It's all a dream. It's all a dream.
No, how have you found it so far? So you played through the entirety of Tsushima at some point. This is the
Yeah.
Sequel, how are you finding the upgrades? How are you finding the experience? I know you've only done 30 minutes, but what you've got for us?
I mean, so far it makes a very strong first impression. How I'd say that first 30 minutes. So that I guess the things that seem distinct from Tsushima, not necessarily distinct as in highly different, but just that I noticed were kind of a upgrade on Tsushima almost. One are visuals, obviously, and I think there was a bit of, and even for me, like I looked at the pre-release stuff, videos and such. And trailers, and even though you could see that there was it looked better than Tsushima, I wouldn't say it was like a Zero Dawn to Forbidden West difference, or like Death Stranding 1 to DS2 difference. Like it looked same engine with kind of some draw distance upgrades and maybe some differences in lighting and that sort of stuff, but nothing beyond that. But actually, seeing it on a big TV. It looks like considerably better than Tsushima, I would say. Again, not Zero Dawn to Forbidden West jumps, but like somewhere in between that. So it's a really, really good looking game, both in terms of fidelity and obviously artistically, which the first game really nailed and this one continues to do. I'm playing it in the, I think it's called the Samurai Cinema or something like that, which is where it's Japanese VA with English subtitles. So one thing they have done for this, which Tsushima didn't do, which really annoyed me in Tsushima, was that in Tsushima they had the same mode, but they didn't animate the characters as if they were speaking Japanese. So basically, it was like a Japanese VA dub over English.
That
English
wasn't that.
mouth.
I could be wrong, but that was included in the director's cut, wasn't it?
Yeah. Which is what they eventually went back and touched that up. But when I played it at launch, they didn't have that. So that was like a crap, right? Because like it's not immersive at all. Like the whole reason you opt for the Japanese VA is to be more immersed, and if it's over like someone going it doesn't work. So so that's cool that it's there day one, which is great. The HDR as well. Like the HDR in the first game was excellent, but in this game it's just absolutely superb. It's probably one of the best HDR games I think I've seen in a long, long time, which I kind of expected. But they just the level of specular highlight they can go to in this game is just terrific, and there's no calibration needed for it because it uses your PS5 settings. But it's just brilliant. It just looks fantastic even at this early stage. So apart from that, I haven't really done much. I've done the intro bit, which obviously I can't really talk about because it's the intro and I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it makes it. I think it makes a stronger impression in its intro than Tsushima did in terms of like getting you into the story.
So did you ever play Tsushima on either the director's cut or the PC version, or did you go straight from the PS4 one?
No, I played the director's cut. I did play that one. Yeah, the PS5 upgraded version.
And this sequel still feels like an update, even from that place, rather than the PS4 version.
Yeah, 100%. I'm playing it on the PS5 Pro, and it has four modes on PS5.
I freaking hate
Pro.
modes.
So it has a quality, performance, then a ray tracing mode, and if you're on the Pro, you get ray tracing Pro. And so I'm using ray tracing Pro. Ray tracing Pro, it has ray trace global illumination, and then it's also 60 FPS, and it uses PSSR, I think, at like 1080p to upscale to 4K. Basically, it looks really good. It looks really, really good. The ray tracing it's subtle, but it does make a difference to like the visual perception of that game. And it was unexpected because they said literally nothing about ray tracing pre-launch, and then suddenly it popped up and it has it, which is cool. Which is, it's great. It's great when it has that, and obviously, the pro mode looks good. But I think from what I've seen of the other modes, like the performance mode on base PS5 looks really good as well. So,
So
which I expected because it's
this isn't necessarily a fair question, but I'm going to pick it up anyway because Dr. Scotsy is asking you, and I know you're a fan of Assassin's Creed Shadows visually and the fidelity there.
Yeah.
How is this holding up relative to like this highest of high end of PC games for you?
I think it holds up pretty well actually. It's like Shadows on PC when it's like cranked up, when it's maxed
Unbelievable.
out. It's unbelievable. Like it's probably the best looking game this year. So if for this to get even like near to that is like pretty impressive. Obviously, the thing that you, and like this has been gone over like a million times, but the thing that Yotei has in its favor over Shadows is that artistically, I just think it's far superior. Like the artistic direction of this game is just much better. So it makes for more, and like that's not to say, by the way, that Shadows isn't beautiful artistically as well, because it is. But it's the art direction in the Ghost games is like top of the industry, I would say, like amongst the big giants. So you just get these striking, like this mix of striking lighting and vista, and like movement across the screen is something that Ghost does really well, where you've got like wind and animals and rain and then leaves and all of that stuff going on. So it's kind of like sometimes it's hard like picking apart like, okay, but fidelity wise, how is this compared to X, Y, and Z? So I'd say like Shadows is a better looking game on PC, on like maxed out, but this is doing some really nice stuff, and it's definitely one of the best looking games this year. Yotei, I would say again.
That very much like resonates with what the first game did as well, because I played that on the PS4 a bit before the director's cut, and I remember looking at it and going, actually, like in terms of the kind of technical aspects of it, it's not pushing that hard. Like there's some shit textures around in this game, but artistically, they knew exactly what they were doing with the choices that they made, and I'm assuming the second one is more of the same in terms of catching that aesthetic.
Yeah, and I think this one, like they clearly took the texture criticism to heart, because as you say, like that's the thing in the first game. You're like, oh, that could have been better, visually. Whereas, like, I've only played a limited amount of this, but certainly, and there's a really good, I can't remember who did it. There's a really good like graphics comparison video on YouTube where someone has like literally compared like elements of visuals from Tsushima to Yotei. And you really see like in literally everything, there's been like quite a pronounced bump. So texture detail in particular has had like a really nice bump in this. So, which is one of probably the weakest visual part of Tsushima. As you say, like you'd come across like these really gnarly rock textures and ground textures and stuff that just had very little detail. And he got away with it because artistically it was so beautiful and the lighting was so good. But whereas this game kind of remedies that. So again, it's not like Decima Engine or like Shadows or anything like that. But I wouldn't say it's a million miles away from those. And obviously it has like these. The one thing they've clearly upgraded or clearly focused on is the draw distance in this game, which is just incredible. Like it stretches so far. And it still has this really good level of perceived detail, even though it's so far out, which is clearly like a fundamental part of the tech for this game. So that's been really nice to see as well. But yeah, only 30 minutes, so I need to play more. But yeah, very positive so far. Nice.
You've pushed it higher on my list, but I still need to do. Oh man, I messed up on Tsushima so bad. I still need to do more of that. Yeah, I need to do more. Let's talk about.
Yeah, you need to play it.
Actually. Before I do, Deadly Headley, do you have anything on that one? Are you interested in it? Did you play the first one? Did you enjoy the first one? Do you have any questions?
I played a bit of the Tsushima director's cut on like via PS Plus, but I didn't sort of commit to it or stick with it. I would quite like to get it on PC, and I see it's actually a pretty good price on formerly CDs.com.
I know. No, how's this happened again? Every time. You are secretly sponsored. You are secretly sponsored.
I'm honestly not, but it is pretty phenomenal. I like that so a lot. Yeah, I Tsushima is on my list, but it's just there's just loads to play at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot.
I tried. I played it once, and I fell right off of it because of the open world stuff. I think, to be a little bit harsh, I think some of the open world stuff in Tsushima is dog shit, like really boring. So I played too much of it, and I did too much of that, and I fell right off of it, and I dropped it. And then I decided, actually, I'm gonna control myself and play it more to my own tastes the second time around, and just do the good bits of content, right? So I'm not cutting bamboo, and I'm not following foxes and doing haikus on the fucking rocks or whatever. I'm going to do the main story quests and the like prominent story-driven side quests, the legends quests, whatever they called them, and only that. And I was having a good time the second time around, but it was still quite long. I was doing a lot of recording and things like that as well for whatever purposes I had in mind. And then I got quite a long way into the game, I thought, and it came up with this this splash screen that said Act 2 or Chapter 2 or whatever it says, and I went, what the fuck?
So you thought you'd done like more of it than you actually had?
Quite a lot. I've been playing it for so long. Chapter 2.
Well done, you've done a third.
Okay.
Maybe.
And I couldn't. I fully intended to keep going at some point, but I was like, I need a break, and that break is still ongoing. So I need to go back to that. Second one looks really good to me, and I saw a lot of the criticism saying, "Oh, this is like a PS4 game," and I'm looking at the trailers going, well, "Really doesn't." I think you're a little confused on this, but whatever. So it's good to hear that was wide of the mark. It does look good, and is a good game from the sounds of the first 30 minutes. Go on.
I've sort of deliberately avoided a lot of the marketing content for it, just because I do plan on getting into it at some point, and just if I can go in blind, again, not really having played a huge amount of Tsushima either. It's kind of just nice to go in with a bit of a blank slate. But the one thing I have noticed a lot of that's really stood out to me, again, going back to the art direction that you mentioned, Luke, the like super wide, like cinematic shots of horse riding through field with like the wind lines, the color popping out from the foliage, and like the contrast that's created by the skyboxes that they're using. I really like the art direction. I think the question about how it compares to Shadows is an interesting one. That's another game that I enjoyed but didn't finish, and actually sort of checked out for the same kind of reasons as you did with Tsushima Racer. Just the open world stuff was a bit shit, but the game was beautiful and the combat was really fun. So I'm going to get back into that at some point. And lastly, Luke, I fully agree with you about playing with Japanese audio. It completely changed the tone of the game for Shadows for me. So yeah, there's definitely how I'm going to play both Tsushima and Yotei when I do get around to them, for sure.
So, the other thing that we mentioned there was a little bit of Hades. I am curious about that one. So I played a bunch of Hades over the past week since it came out. Hades 2, this is. Luke, you played a little bit of it while you were away, but you also did get involved in the early access over the past year or so. I want to. I think that game is probably a good candidate to have a spoiler-filled conversation elsewhere for something where that's more appropriate. We're not going to do spoilers here, but Hades 2. I'm brilliant at it, Luke. That's all I've got to say on that topic. Depends what you mean by finished it, right? Because Hades, and again, really talking around spoilers. Have
you done a successful run?
Absolutely, yes. Of course I have, because I'm a phenomenal Hades player, and I did my successful run so soon that certain directions of content were not actually available to me. So yeah, I have done a successful run. I have to say, for all of it, I breezed through most of it, and it makes you powerful from early on, and has a very arse bastard, really nasty way of slowing you down artificially and arbitrarily. If you come across Strife, Yeah, so if you are a competent Hades player and you're good at it from the first one, which a lot of people will be because it is very, very similar in the beats of combat, all right? If you go into Hades 2 playing better than a new player would have done on their first run of Hades 1, then a character pops up that puts a really vicious curse on you that basically says you're not finishing, it's too early. And that upset me. It is mean.
That is really mean.
At the same time, now I'm later in the game, I kind of respect it a little bit. But it was upsetting because I reckon I probably would have cleared it on around about my second try if it weren't for this curse.
Yeah.
And then, to be fair, that would have been a little bit disappointing to have done that.
Yeah, game over very quickly. Yeah, I get it. But still, to just like take the glory away from you like that.
It felt mean. I was like, this isn't fair. What am I supposed to do about that?
Like the inverse of that, like a positive boon.
Well, you go into the options and set God mode if you're like, yeah.
But they should just pop up with a message and set it for you and just be like, you might as well have this because you're clearly too good at the game.
So a lot of people struggle with Hades. I am decent at it, right? I say that I'm the best player in the world, and I'm obviously being hyperbolic when I say that. But I'm decent at it. I'm terrible at Call of Duty. I'm terrible at a lot of games, but I'm quite good at Hades, right? I got through this one only the once so far, and the entirety of it I found relatively simplistic, apart from the last phase of the last boss, which is visual noise that I found quite difficult. But yeah, I have. Have you cleared it?
No, I haven't. So you're a better Hades.
Well,
I have cleared everything up to the final boss, like several thousand times. But that second phase and that last boss just absolutely obliterate. Like it doesn't obliterate. Like I get close, but like I've played it for like 30 hours. I still haven't beaten.
Do you know how many nights into it you are?
Like 70.
Okay, so my first clear was on the 15th night.
Yeah, so that's just.
And
so just casually flexing there.
No, like it's the only thing that I've got in video games that I'm like, actually, I'm pretty good at this, so I might as well talk about it, right?
But did you see? The thing is, did you play Returnal?
I've not done Returnal much. I did a bit.
Yeah. See, I'm a god at Returnal, so I was.
That's nice though, right? Everyone's got that little thing. You can lord that over me. I fully accept it because.
So Returnal is my Hades, but Hades is like difficult to like. I mean, certain bosses in Hades and that final boss in Hades 2, second phase is a real fucker, to be honest.
Okay. The bosses, right? My very first run, I got to the second boss. My second run, I got to the third boss. And that was those bosses haven't really beat me since. Right?
Yeah, they're. I don't think I'm trying to think like if I struggled like specifically with any boss in Hades 2 up to the final boss, and I can't remember that I
remember you saying that some of them were good, and I agree. One of them is very fun, right? That second boss is very fun as an encounter, and there's a lot going on, and it is cool. And I reckon if I hadn't already kind of cut my teeth on the first one, then that probably would have been quite challenging, right? But it's a difficult thing because it's not fun if something's just arbitrarily difficult, right? And the boss, the encounters are well designed in that obviously you're supposed to be able to beat them, and if you already are good at the game, then there's not. I don't know. It's a difficult one to kind of put that challenge in place. So the kind of what felt like an arbitrary, unfair curse for me does kind of make sense because the game does need you to take a little bit of time to get through it. So I can appreciate it in that sense. I can appreciate a lot about the game, but what you were saying to me beforehand, before it actually launched, or as it was approaching launching before you went away, you said that you would say that it's a better game than the first Hades.
Yes, I did say that.
I haven't arrived at that conclusion yet, and that's the conversation that I want to have with you now. And again, really trying hard to talk around spoilers. If you are watching, like we are, very, very respectful of not spoiling things for you. And I know this game isn't even out on 2 of the major platforms at the moment, so a lot of people haven't even sampled it. We are not going to ruin anything that's going to happen, right? So, with that in mind, why do you think it's better than the first one?
I think it's better than the first one because, and I think I said this at the time, I think the boss battles are better. I think they're more interesting, they're more varied, and they're certainly more fun, I would say, particularly that second boss, right? Which is like really weird compared to any of the original. So that was the first reason. The second reason is I think it has more interesting like build potential than the first game. You get a lot more, there are more weapons, you get a lot more tools. The boons can be more interesting as well. So
Are
the
there
way
more weapons?
I think there are more weapons. I think now there are more weapons on launch.
There's 6 weapons on launch, and I think that's pretty similar numbers wise.
Yeah. Maybe I just didn't use
right,
my
and this is
but anyway.
So like the reason that I disagree that it's a better game, and we had a conversation on this podcast last week about it and how I was with it on like the initial kind of entry into the game, and my thoughts last week were that it doesn't start as strongly, but I could see how it's kind of backloaded to have more potential to be better later on. So the characters aren't as immediately captivating in the same way as the first one was, because the dynamic between them is just very different. Like everyone's on the same side in a sense, so you lose a little bit of that. And the combat, Malinois is a lot more balanced than Zagreus was. By default, you can do a lot more, right? It's only a couple of little things, but by default she's good at range, and she's good in melee, and she's got decent spells. And that wasn't so much the case in the first one, but it means because she's good at range, it kind of changed the combat in quite a big way for me and made it quite simplistic. You didn't need a wild build to be able to be good at the game because she's already baseline well-rounded.
Yeah, but like, to be honest, like I don't think we should really be listening to someone who's cleared like the final boss in like 15 nights. Like I don't like, it would be me saying like if they made Returnal 2 and they kind of changed the stuff about it, and me going, yeah, but I don't think that's, oh yeah, that's quite the same. But it's because like my experience isn't like the normal. Your experience is not the normal Hades experience.
Maybe
like nobody
not, right?
generally is that. I'm
definitely not unique in it though. I'm definitely not unique in being good at it.
Sure, like, yeah.
I'm okay at it. I am. But the thing that I saw at the start is essentially the entire palette of moves that you have in the first game is doubled in the second one, right? Everything that you can do has a hold down version, like a second version of it. So you've got kind of double the palette and double the potential to build wildly. And for me, last week, I thought in the late game I'd be getting more interesting builds out of this than I did in the first one. There's more potential for stuff to get exciting, and it may overtake it in the late game. I don't know if I could say that I'm in the late game. I've finished the game, so I'm kind of in the late game, and it still hasn't really hit that yet. I love it. Don't get me wrong. If anyone's listening to this thinking I don't like Hades 2, right? Hades 2 is freaking awesome, and I love it, and I'm going to keep playing it because it is so good, and it does so many things so well. But the first one's better to me.
Can't comment. I haven't played either.
Oh man, the first one just returned to Game Pass. If you didn't cancel your subscription, then it's right there for you to jump on. It's so nice. I don't like roguelike games particularly, and I love this. I love these ones very much.
I have also been eyeing up Returnal. That's it's another game I haven't played, but I've heard loads and loads of good things about it. Obviously, Saros has also generated quite a lot of excitement as well. I'm more tempted to check out Returnal, to buy Returnal, than I am Ghost of Tsushima.
Good man. That'll be a good choice.
My next purchase is reserved exclusively for Battlefield 6. That is
the wrong choice, but compared to
I'm going to put so much time into that game. There are going to be so many games I don't complete because of Battlefield 6, even more than I already don't complete. So yeah, I'm going to be in trouble with that one.
So Lutrons has asked if they added more currencies into Hades 2, and I actually don't know if I can answer that. It's got a different path and method for upgrading the character, and there probably are more. but I don't know. And to be honest, I don't even think I've unlocked them all yet because I'm just too brilliant, you know.
Yeah. There's like maybe 1 or 2 more, but not.
It's not like, wildly more broad, is it?
It's not wild. No, it's not like wildly different to the first. It's just like there's more stuff. There's more stuff you can upgrade, kind of, and then more stuff you can do.
And content-wise, it's wider. Yeah. Basically, everything in Hades 1 is doubled for Hades 2. Like they've gone multiplayer, everything is doubled.
It's a sequel, right? So it's like they've gone. You liked Hades, well, here's more of it plus extra. And then, I mean, apparently that's not good enough for some people, but you know.
Oh man, I don't want to because it's even if I'm just talking about the first boss, I don't want to verge into spoilers. But she's way fucking boring. Balances out the second one being way exciting. First one's boring.
What did you think of the third boss?
I have a recording of me doing so well on that one that I'm like, oh, do I say FTW? Because FTW is currently stuck on that part of the game.
That boss, it can be unexpectedly tricky, I think.
Nah, we're coming from different places.
It depends. It's easier to get caught by that. Like it looks like you shouldn't. It's difficult to describe without spoiling it. It's one of those where, like, if you don't concentrate enough and you take it too lightly, you'll get punished, basically.
Yeah.
It's not like inherently difficult as a boss. It's just that if you don't give it enough respect, you can get punished by.
Yeah, which to be fair applies to most of the game, right? And
the first boss is very easy, I would say.
Massively recommend this game to people. Like you already know if you enjoy Hades or not, unless you've never played it. I'd stand firm on Hades 1 being better. So if you've never played a Hades game and you're curious about it and you're hearing this conversation and going, "Wow, Hades 2 sounds really good," play the first one before it. Like, would you agree that still makes sense when you got both available today? If you've never played either, go and play the first one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think you should play the first one anyway. If anything, it would help just contextualizing the world of the second one. But yeah,
and it's not like Ghost of Tsushima to Ghost of Yotei. You wouldn't necessarily make the same recommendation, right? Because the technical leap is there, There's
no story continuation at all. So you can go straight into Yotei. But yeah, certainly play the first Hades because it's a terrific game anyway.
Which I did in 9 nights, by the way. 9 nights for the first clear and 19 nights for the 10th clear. Just so you know.
I don't know how you do. What do you think of the? And I've got to be very careful how I speak about this. The other bosses of Hades 2.
So,
if you know what I'm saying.
Like I say, there's other directions that you can take in the game, which are cool. And I was introduced to them too late. I've still got some things to do. Still got a few things to do. Still got a lot of things to do in terms of, like, if you know how the first Hades works, then you know exactly what I'm referring to without me referring to anything more. And I won't, because it is spoilers. I will say that Hades 2 does a good job of managing to deliver a similar premise, right? It manages to sufficiently give you reason to keep playing in a way that feels nice. You might not know because you've not finished it yet. Sorry, but it does. It's good. Highly recommended that people get onto it. I will be doing some kind of review when I've done a little bit more.
Don't listen to Asa because fucking lunatic. So
I'm really bad at Call of Duty.
Yeah,
it's just like a little bit of humility, you know. Like I'm really bad at Call of Duty
and really shit at everything else.
Yeah. So okay, that's that one covered. Let's go on to our one of the bigger topics, probably the only remaining topic as well. Microsoft upset some people this week. Microsoft upset some people most weeks, and this is probably relatively trivial in terms of their company history, but they upset a lot of their Xbox fans this week because they made some changes to Game Pass that Deadly Head is going to talk us through right now.
Yeah, it's just bus me under it. Let's go. So Thanks for that. Totally unprepared.
No, you're not. No, this isn't true because
So,
you mentioned
okay,
before we started
fine.
this 10% that I wasn't even aware of. So I'm going to you because I reckon you're a
Okay,
better place
right.
than me to talk through what's changing.
Fine. So, we'll top line it by saying that basically Xbox has tried to spin this as you are getting more value with your Game Pass subscriptions, which technically on paper is true, but only if you want it. There are 3 tiers to Game Pass: Essential, which used to be Game Pass Core; Premium, which I think has stayed the same name. That was sort of like the middle tier, wasn't it? And then Ultimate, which still exists as well. All 3 tiers now come with cloud streaming, which I think is a really positive move. It significantly lowers that barrier of entry um, below just the highest tier, which was $20 American or £15 a month UK. That pricing is now, well, that's gone. They've all gone up by, well, actually, no. So has premium gone up a little bit? Or is premium the same? Is it just ultimate that's gone up by 50%?
I actually have no idea.
Definitely yeah, I'm not. I can't. I think because all of the noise was
all
around
of the noises around that 50%.
Remember what?
About the amount that Ultimate has gone up. So Ultimate has gone up by 50%. So in America, that's now $30 a month. In the UK, it's 23. I actually wanted to ask you guys about this one, and it was a point that I've raised on one of our shows before, about how I think the psychology of pricing pays into this conversation a lot as well. So for me, 23 £23 a month, it's a lot more than what Game Pass Ultimate currently is, but it's not an offensive amount of money to me immediately. Whereas if it was £30 UK, I think I'd be a lot more pissed off about it and a lot more sort of I'd be rejecting that a lot more. That also hits our wallets differently because the currency conversion makes it more expensive than it would be in the US. But I think the point that I'm trying to get at is I wonder if, even though $30 converted to British pounds works out as sort of what feels psychologically as a cheaper price for us, I wonder if that $30 subscription mark is the thing that has really tipped a lot of, especially the Xbox hardcore, over the edge. I think I've heard this point touched on a lot, where subscriptions are supposed to be something that you don't really notice. You kind of just, ideally, you want them to be priced well enough so that you don't actively think about that amount of money going out every month. If you're in a privileged enough position to be able to feel that way about Game Pass pre-price hikes. Post-price hikes, I think it's now a subscription that a lot of people might question. Being brutally honest, Game Pass isn't a thing I really want to cancel because I like it and I use it a hell of a lot. And again, £23 a month, I can still stomach that. That's all right. But it has made me go, okay, I'm probably going to end up canceling something else, whether that is Now TV or Disney Plus. Both of those have sort of kind of run their course and are ready for the chop. With Deadly Junior on the way, she's a girl as well. I don't know if I've said that on this podcast.
Yeah,
We're having a daughter. A little gender reveal for anyone who doesn't know already, or follow me on Twitter. She's going to want some Disney Plus in her life, but for the next couple of years, we could probably just sideline that one. So although the Game Pass price hikes haven't made me go, oh shit, I might cancel Game Pass, it's made me go, there's probably some other subscriptions that I can bin off in favor of still getting my day one games.
Yeah. So the thing that really stood out for me with it, obviously 50% is a big lump to swallow in one go, but the thing that makes it really difficult and unpalatable for a lot of people is that Microsoft have been insisting that it's a profitable service for them and everything is going really well. So then that 50% is suddenly
framed, it's all framed by that very sort of retrospectively tone deaf tweet from, I don't think it was directly from Sarah Bond, but Sarah Bond was basically quoted saying like, we made 5 billion in profit from Game Pass last year. And then literally not even 48 hours later, it's going up by 50%. So it's now even more profitable than it was.
Yeah, and I genuinely think people would be more lenient on them if they had either not said anything at all, which is often the smart play, or acknowledged that actually the commercials weren't working out perfectly as they had anticipated, and some things needed to change to keep it going. But they said the opposite. They said everything's rosy. This service is perfectly sustainable and profitable the way that it is. By the way, please give us 50% more a month. Which is like, you didn't really frame that the best possible way. For me, like, it's still a good subscription. It's still worthwhile for the 400 odd games that are in there, and I like the commitment in there. In the little underlined detail is 75 day one games a year. All right, 75 plus, and that,
which is 50% more than what they currently do in terms of day ones, and works out as an average of 6.5, so 6 or 7 games per month.
Yeah, and even like, I'm sure some of them are going to be smaller titles and all the rest of it, but that's like, that's a strong number. And
it's a lot of content. I think the big one for me that I don't like about this change, specifically to Ultimate, is they've basically tried to, and again, this is why I started with saying that they've sort of framed it as it being a good thing for players, offering me shit I don't want. And that's the only way I can put it. I don't need Ubisoft Plus Classics in my subscription. Yeah, I'm probably going to use some of it, and it's quite nice that I can play some of those on cloud, but it's unlikely that I'm going to take full advantage of that. It's not something that I'm going to be playing every month. But I guess that for me is a more welcome benefit than the other one, which is Fortnite Crew. That is basically what is it, 1,000 V-Bucks?
So much value.
It's value. Look,
it's value for people that already have it. Yeah.
If you play Fortnite regularly and you also play Call of Duty and you also play you will dip into a lot of other games that come as part of Game Pass Ultimate. And I'm specifically thinking about the only man I saw genuinely happy about all of these changes on Twitter, which was Special Nick from Xbox Era. He plays a lot of Rocket League. He plays a lot of Fortnite. He's buzzing about this. Like, genuinely, he's really, really happy about everything that this brings him, because it actually serves him, the consumer. I don't play Fortnite. I think I've played Fortnite like 3 times, and one of them was to go in. So maybe I'm part of the problem. I bought the Master Chief skin because I'm a fucking Halo fan. Like, you show me Master Chief in a game, I'm gonna go be Master Chief in that game. I can't help it. I see the Green Man. I want to be the Green Man. But it sort of feels like a lot of this has been driven by their user data, and if a lot of their Ultimate customers are playing a lot of Fortnite, and they are playing a lot of Call of Duty, and they are taking advantage of everything else, then yeah, maybe it serves them quite nicely. But it feels a bit tone deaf. There's also a couple of sneaky things that have sort of slipped in under the radar via either small print or just straight up omission. So one that I like, that Acer alluded to earlier, that we'll come back to, is historically Game Pass Ultimate customers, I'm assuming Premium also got this discount as well, but Ultimate customers definitely got a discount on things like DLC, on currency, like in-game currencies. That's gone. So that discount that players were getting for paying for a quote-unquote premium subscription they're charging you more money for the privilege of, of taking that benefit away. And the other one, which I think might catch a lot of people out, and I'm specifically thinking about, honestly, when we have these conversations and I think about gamers, I do think about the guys that are listening to the podcast, the guys that have these conversations in this space regularly. But I'm always more cognizant of the guys I went to uni with, the guys who aren't plugged into this, but do still use that service, do use that subscription, because they will have to ask themselves, how many games do I play outside of Call of Duty on Game Pass to justify whether or not it is worth me paying full whack for Game Pass Ultimate, essentially renting Call of Duty and playing all of this other stuff, or dropping down to premium and buying Call of Duty and then playing whatever else shows up in Game Pass as and when it does. Or if they're only maining Call of Duty, maybe even going down to Essential and just buying COD every year, once a year. Depends on how they play.
Speaking of COD, though, in fact, there's a couple of bits of
one more footnote that snuck in via the small print. So if you're on Ultimate at the moment and you don't like the fact that the price has gone up on that tier by 50%, but you still want to play Call of Duty, so you might be thinking, oh, okay, it's fine. The new Xbox published games are going to drop on premium within 1 year of launch. There's a little asterisk on that note that says this does not include Call of Duty. So if you planned on waiting for Call of Duty to show up to that service because you didn't want to foot the bill for Ultimate, but you're expecting to play Call of Duty via a subscription service at some point in the year, that's not going to happen. And I think that's quite interestingly ties in with another piece of information we've had today, which is like, it's a proper no shit Sherlock moment. It sort of feels like people parading this around as like we were right. It sort of feels it's a bit disingenuous to sort of go, we told you guys, because one of the other headlines that we've seen is that Call of Duty has lost $300 million in sales by being on Game Pass. But if you offer Call of Duty in Game Pass, how are people going to consume it? They're not going to buy the game. They're going to jump in via the subscription because you've offered this value proposition.
Yeah. So that's Bloomberg's reporting on that. They followed up on it and said they mostly spoke to people that were former employees at Microsoft rather than getting current data, right. And they arrived with this $300 million lost sales value, but without giving much basis of how it was calculated. Another interesting number, they said like 82% of its actual sales were on PlayStation, which is, I don't know, that seems wild on the PC side of things at the very least. You'd think there were more there, but it's there, it's data, and it's speculative.
What about PC Game Pass though? Because I guess that's the other.
It's not that big. I know it's grown, but it's not that big. Like Call of Duty would still sell crazy, you would think, unless Game Pass is more effective on PC than we kind of realize at this point in time. The there was something. The Call of Duty thing not being included in Premium is a wonky decision because Call of Duty is the one game that you can absolutely guarantee is going to be replaced in 1 year. There's going to be a new Call of Duty in 12 months. The old one has no value at that point. Why is that asterisk there? Whose idea was that?
It's funny because I think we've seen this in subscription models before where there's 3 tiers and they're basically designed to funnel you upwards to the most expensive one through caveats like this. And Call of Duty is a really interesting one because you get one every year. Like clockwork, you will get another one it's usually November, isn't it? Yeah. And it sort of, basically the option that you've got is buy Call of Duty every year, play 15 quid a month for other stuff that you might want to play throughout that yearly period, or just pay the subscription fee. Don't buy COD. Never own COD. I think the issue around ownership really depends on the individual themselves. I'm all right not owning stuff that has been in Game Pass, and if I want to own it, I'll buy it, usually when it's dropped in price after I've played it in Game Pass. Starfield is one for me that I will go and buy at some point because I want to own it, but currently I don't, because I don't feel the need to go and own it. I can access it through Game Pass. But obviously, if that situation changes, it's a game I'm definitely going to go and buy, at which point it's going to cost way less than it would have done if I got it brand new.
So, Gamsey, thank you for the 2 gifted memberships. Sorry that YouTube swallowed one of them. There's not a lot I can do about it, but much appreciated. Luke, as you haven't had a crack at this little topic yet, I'm going to ask you. So Microsoft had an awesome graph, by the way, in their court case I've seen kicking around. Part of their kind of forecasting for how cloud gaming was going to grow. It's a brilliant graph. It goes in, it's got all these years laid out, and it's like, oh, there's going to be Game Pass subscribers. It was going to be 30 million, and then 31, and then 32, and then 33, and here's 34 at the current day, and next year it's going to be 100 million, and it's a fantastic case study of a graph for like who to trust and who not, and what kind of analysis is this. But what's happened, because Microsoft promised in 2023 that they weren't going to raise the prices as a consequence of the Activision Blizzard King merger and acquisition, right? The however many billions that they spent. They obviously forecast various things wrong along the way, but like, who's at fault? Is anyone at fault? Should we be mad at Microsoft? What's happened? How's it gone so wrong since 2 years ago? Has it gone so wrong since 2 years ago, or was this always the plan? What's going on, Luke? Lawyer us up.
No, I will not. No, I mean, I think, look, it's Microsoft's fault. I mean, Microsoft are the one making the decisions about this. I think, like, it's always a bit annoying, kind of looking back, and it, you know, hindsight's always 20/20, isn't it? Like, you can look back and go, well, obviously they were going to raise prices in due course for this stuff. But and like when they spoke about, you know, we're not going to do X, Y, and Z, they don't mean indefinitely, right? And nobody would ever hold them to mean indefinitely, you know, that we're not going to raise prices on stuff. But they were talking about, you know, the kind of immediate follow-up, you know, 6 to 12 months out of the merger, that they weren't going to do X, Y, or Z. And none of these things in any case were binding on them, right? They were just things that they said. But having said that, I think the most galling thing about this is, as you know, Deadly's talked about and you've said, is the fact that they have been at great lengths multiple times when questioned by, you know, gaming journalists and the broader public, that Game Pass is a very sustainable service, that it is a profitable service. And then they've had a pretty, you know, a very significant price raise on the most popular tier. Because really, for the most part, like Game Pass, I've never really seen Game Pass as a vehicle for attracting casual gamers. Like it's the type of thing, and the Ultimate is an expression of this. Like, it's great if you play a lot of games. If you don't, and you play a couple of games, these sorts of services aren't that useful to you, because you're just not going to get sufficient value out of them for what you're paying. And so, you know, I think it's more egregious because they've clearly, and you know, I keep thinking back to that quote that Phil Spencer came out with, and it wasn't that long ago. It's like 1 or 2 years ago, where he was talking about, you know, there were kind of different, and I can't remember the context, but he was talking about there are different models of like extracting money from consumers. And one thing that he didn't want to do was try and, you know, go into the core base and just try and get more money out of them, right? Like, rather than getting more money from it. And like this is exactly the thing that he kind of reneged against like a couple of years ago, where it's like, we are trying to extract as much money as possible now out of people who are locked into this ecosystem. And that is that to some extent, at least for this thing, that's our focus. I think the biggest thing that this shows is that clearly subscriber numbers are not anywhere near where they want them to be for Game Pass. And I think it's probably shows more than anything that they are not confident that they will get those numbers. I genuinely think they've reached, they're close to reaching market saturation on this service. Like they think this is how saturated it's going to be.
So on that, just like while you're on that particular point, because they mentioned previously that they already kind of felt that way in the console space, but the PC was a good area for growth and that there's a lot of potential in cloud. Do you think that this is a sign that those are slowing up or underperforming? I mean, there's changes around cloud, but less changes around the PC side of things.
I think, I mean, the cloud one's an interesting one because on like if you look at cloud on paper, it looks like a vector of like consumer interaction where there should be massive growth happening like constantly on this area, and that just hasn't been borne out.
It's been on the horizon for like 10 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's been like a thing that's like, oh, it's on the way, like it's coming, and it's not happening. It's like, and I think there are many, many different reasons for that. Like some are just consumer behaviors, how they purchase and how they experience entertainment, particularly games. Some of it's infrastructure related. Some of it's some cloud services just aren't very good. All of that sort of stuff. But I just don't think there's like a legitimate, bona fide, en masse interest in cloud gaming. Like I just don't think it exists. Maybe it will in a bit, but
two things to that. So obviously we don't know what this means in terms of actual numbers, but Microsoft have said on multiple occasions that cloud is its fastest growing.
Percentage wise, I'm sure, from 1 to 3 people.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. Like we don't that doesn't translate to player numbers, etc. I think that part of this bid to possibly get more cloud users, right? Okay, it's a little bit tinfoil hat, but I do actually think that there is some weight to it. I know something, but I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not going to. But I do think that we've seen an interesting clue as to how they might be trying to grow the service via mobile and cloud. So we had the Verge's report about a free tier being tested at the moment.
Ad
tier. It's an ad tier. It is again in internal testing at the moment, but basically the crack is you get something like 5 free hours a month, which sounds like a really shit offer. I wonder if that, so I think there might be some intention there to try and grow cloud from a free tier base by pushing cloud for free on mobile devices and on other cloud enabled devices at that free tier. And then because cloud is now available at a lower barrier of entry, i.e. essential from $9.99 a month, after you've sort of had your fun with that free tier, I wonder if that $9.99 barrier becomes far more tempting, especially if you're not already in the ecosystem or paying into that ecosystem, than springing for Ultimate, which was previously the only way that you could play cloud games. So I wonder if part of that strategy of trying to grow cloud has sort of played into some of the changes that we've seen on like the bottom rungs of the tier, of the Game Pass tiers, plus that sort of ad driven, that like free to play model with ads, which it sounds awful. Like I don't know anyone that would want that, but I also think I'm always conscious, and maybe it's because of like the marketing person in me, the person who does actually engage with conversations with casuals about their gaming habits, just because I like to know what people that I know in real life are playing. I don't really care about their gaming habits specifically. Just, you know, if I'm chatting with someone at work and I know they like playing games, I'll ask them what they've played. Same sort of conversation, the same questions as we'd ask each other here. I'm also fully aware that the plural of anecdote is not data, but I have heard one podcaster talk about someone that he's worked with in real life who is still on Xbox One, bought Borderlands 4, which obviously is not playable on Xbox One, but they play that via cloud. I have also had similar conversations with people, with one person that I work with who he played Hell Let Loose via cloud on Xbox One because he didn't have an Xbox Series console, largely because they're so much more expensive than the previous gen was, and they've only gone up in price since. So I think it would be really interesting to see actual numbers to understand what growth is like and what player engagement is actually like. But it just sort of, I guess, what I'm trying to say is those two instances, they are two isolated incidences, so we can't extrapolate data from them. But I wonder if it sort of illustrates a picture that people engaged in this space don't necessarily consider.
So I think that they had the same misconception as most of us going into their push for growth in the cloud space. The misconception that has hurt Microsoft a lot, in my opinion, is that they think that if you put Halo in someone's hands, they're going to enjoy it. And that the problem was the barriers to entry. And we see that, we play a game like that and we'll all love it and we'll go, yeah, that makes sense, everyone's going to love this. But I'm not sure that the audience for that kind of experience is as big as they anticipated. And I think they found out the hard way that removing barriers doesn't actually mean people want to pick up a controller necessarily.
And just to add, as well, I think that they've vastly overestimated the demographic of people that want those type, not just Halo, but those types of experiences.
Yeah, they would go from Candy Crush to something else.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas actually, there's like no overlap there with those audiences. Like the people who are playing games on their phones or on, well, tablets or their phones or whatever, are not looking. They're just not looking. There are some cases like Deadly, like your cases, like where, and it's not quite the same, but people who can't afford a console, but really at heart are console gamers and want that experience. And so cloud for them is a fantastic option because it's much cheaper, low barrier to entry. But I imagine that addressable audience is like this for that. Like it's probably very small. Yeah. So, whereas I think Microsoft went, well, Gears of War is, 67 million people could play the next Gears of War if we just put it on the cloud. Whereas actually, the people who want to play it will play it on a console or a PC, and then everybody else will just be like...
That's the thing. The audience who's already engaged with Gears of War, you've already got them.
Yeah, you've already got them. They're there, right? And I get that they could... or
they've just bought it on PS5. And to be fair, that kind of goes back to... It's something that I've talked about on my YouTube channel, where... I wonder if that sort of it's going to be really interesting to see. I wonder if that content on PS5 acts as a driver into cloud, and this is also a lower barrier of entry. So if someone's only on PlayStation, they want to play day one, and it's exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, hypothetically, because we don't know. It could go either way. We've sort of seen like a halfway point now with Forza Horizon 6. So they've straight up said Forza Horizon 6 is coming to the Xbox ecosystem first. We'll bring it to PS5 at a later date due to the popularity of this franchise, but it's not coming straight away. That could be a development thing. It could be a fuck it, let's see what happens. Let's test this exclusive theory. Let's see if our cloud grows. Let's see how well we can market this across devices and access points to see if people bite after having a taster of Forza Horizon 5. But I think the reality is those players who want to play it on PS5, they're just going to wait. They might not.
Yeah.
FOMO might bite, and I wonder if that is part of the gamble that Microsoft is taking with this.
I think even if FOMO were to buy those people, though, those are probably the type of people that would buy a console. Like, like I'm not saying they wouldn't consider cloud, but they were probably, gamers of, sufficient.
It's not great to a new audience, is it?
Yeah, like they would probably go, yeah, exactly. It's not a new audience for them as such, because those people will probably just say, well, I'll either wait, because at this point we know that those games are coming to other platforms at some point, like maybe not day one, but and if not, they'll just go, well, it's been a year, there's no sight of it, I might just get like a Series S or an X, or I mean, maybe they won't now that it's like £700,000 for a Series X or whatever, but like, they're probably they're more of that ilk where they'll just go, okay, well, I'll just play it natively somewhere, I'll try and get my hands on it. It's just a weird, like, my take on the price increases is just that they think that they've reached saturation point for Game Pass, basically. And that's not to say that it can't still grow. I think it is still growing. They've talked about PC Game Pass growing before, and that's a positive for them. But they're clearly not generating the numbers that they need to for this to be like. I don't want to use the fucking sustainable point again, but it comes up all the time. But moves like this do kind of lend some credence to that idea that they do not think it's not that it's not sustainable, but they're not happy with the amount of people that are in Game Pass at the minute, clearly, and they want people to pay more money for it. And they do that under the auspices of increased value, and there is on a binary level increased value, but it's still very subjective. But I just think that they're just trying to extract more money from people who are already locked into the service and they know won't leave. And that's not an evil thing to do, because every other subscription service in the world has done that. But it does mark a pretty significant shift, I think, in the way that Microsoft is starting to approach the service now, whereas before they've really focused on the value proposition of it. Like, and it's still, look, I mean, value is subjective, as I just said. To me, it's still very good value for the money. And I think it's the best value if you're, funnily enough, if you're just playing on PC. If you're just PC, and it's still absolutely terrific value. Yeah, because you have everything you have in Ultimate, not everything, but all the things you would want, I think, on PC you get, right? So you get through PC Game Pass. If they start pissing about with that one, then you'll really know, like, because they've, as I said, they've talked about PC being a really good growth space for them. So if they suddenly start jacking up the price on PC Game Pass, then that the numbers there are pretty dire in terms of like increase as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that one specifically in the future, because it seems like leaving it now that they're clearly in the user acquisition stage in the PC space still, or at least I think they are.
Oh, they also
happy with it.
Like, as an aside from the whole Game Pass thing, though, they did settle a debate, right? Because there's been this big ongoing, is the ROG Ally X a console or a PC? And they just reminded everyone that if it were a console, you'd have to pay to play online. So it's that's still in there. That definitely should not be in there. I want to catch this super chat from Soiltech. Soiltech said, "Good evening. Gaming is expensive, but it is good." Yes, it is. That is why we're all here still talking about it, despite price increases and all the rest of it. We do love it as a hobby. And a follow-up question there as well was, why do you reckon that cross progression isn't taking a hold across various publishers? And I'm going to answer that very succinctly. For me, it's speculative, so don't take this as gospel, but I'm going to say it's red tape and it is Sony branded.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, probably.
I'm still really frustrated that there's no cross progression between Steam and Xbox on Helldivers. That's a real shame, because I don't want to grind on console for the stuff I've already unlocked on PC. I've already done it.
So I'm not like pulling that one out of my arse entirely. We know that Sony have pretty strict contractual obligations around cross-play in terms of they do not want people playing games on their platform and spending money elsewhere. So they don't want you to be able to buy something on a PC and use it on a PlayStation without them getting their cut. You can do it, but logistically it's very difficult. They need a certain amount of data to track the amount of time you're spending on various platforms relative to what you're spending on theirs and where you're spending the money, and it is too much for small developers and even some large ones to pursue, I would say. That's my take on why it's not standard and commonplace, because we know that Microsoft offer it for free, right? If your game is on Xbox, you can use their PlayFab service now to get cross progression without paying for that at all. Like, it's just there to pick up and use, but that doesn't mean that everybody else is on board with the idea.
I guess an interesting sort of kind of not really like a sidebar question, but I guess what does this do to your thoughts and expectations for Xbox next generation in terms of doing things like the PC console hybrid? Do you think that? I mean, I personally think that they've painted themselves into a really difficult corner there, because are they really gonna force people who are playing on a PC hybrid console to stick with Ultimate, or are they just gonna get Game Pass, PC Game Pass? Because I think that's the trap it's now set for itself and its users.
It's it's a weird situation, and one that console players should be kicking back on much more firmly than they do, because right now if you play an Xbox game on the PC, you get exactly the same quality of service, exactly the same features, exactly the same servers, exactly the same value, and you don't pay for it. If you play that same game on a console, you pay £10 a month for the privilege, and that's like not fair in simplest terms.
No,
it's something that people have just accepted as the norm, and it's obviously got like quite a storied history of how it came about, and like the old gold service and all the rest of it. But at some point, I mean, they've not stopped doing that because it's getting them money. So it's a decision that Microsoft's going to make somewhere along the line. How the next Xbox console PC thing lands, how they brand it, how they distinguish between these things, whether they just say, okay, console players, we're dropping this wall now, or whether they say, sorry, PC players, but this is how things are in our ecosystem. Like, that would be crazy.
I have thought about this. Like, I'm curious as to how they're going to handle the online play stuff. As you say, like, about, you know, if you're playing on a, because we know that the intention there, for example, is to open up, you know, on an Xbox console, PC, whatever it'll be, you'll have other storefronts, right? Like, the point is you'll be able to access other storefronts. So the first question is, well, what are you first of all, are you presumably you're just loading a PC version of the game? Like, how does the SDK work? Like, I don't really understand that. But secondly, what happens then when you're trying to play online? You know, because surely then if it's just through, you're playing like a Steam game, for example, then there shouldn't be any artificial like wall to playing online, because you're just running a PC version via Steam. So it's going to be, you know, it's going to be interesting, because also that sacrifices, if they do it like I think they should, it sacrifices an awful lot of revenue for them, you know, from people who previously would have been paying to play online that now don't have to and won't. So there's a lot of questions. It's going to be interesting to see when they reveal it and what the feature set looks like and how it all works.
Yeah, and those are, for both Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo as well, I imagine, like massively successful tiers of a subscription service that don't make sense when you stack it up against what they're doing on PC. So, yeah. I think that's probably enough commercials and business decisions. I think we should move on to our questions, because the first one is already up. So if you two are ready, we're going to go straight into the one that you may be familiar with, you may be expecting. It's from Tom. Evening, chaps. What's not to like this week? Luke.
Long flights.
Crimea River. Come on
Yeah,
now.
but
Oh,
look,
I'm so
they are
hard done by. I've
difficult.
been in Japan. They had such nice food. Went to Tokyo Game Show. Oh,
I don't know why I turned into Bora.
My wallet's too small for my 50s. My diamond shoes are too tight.
No, but it is so like it's just difficult, right? It doesn't diminish it. Like, come on, be nice.
I feel for you. Like, yeah. This is an emotional time.
Yeah, I was pretty emotional on that flight back, waiting for it to end. So yeah, probably just that and tourists. And I know I was a tourist, but I'm one of the good tourists. I'm one of the good tourists.
Bit of
like,
self-loathing to balance the scales.
I'm a really good tourist, and there's so many people that are just absolute fuckers. So yeah, probably them.
Mine is that it's still that Luke didn't take me on his long flight.
I know you'd have been like, you'd have snapped me out of it. You'd have been like, look, get a grip.
Mine is that Battlefield 6 is still a week away, because honestly, it's the only game I actually want to play right now. It's driving me crazy. Yeah.
But I'll take the low-hanging fruit. I'm not too keen on price increases,
I thought about it, but yeah.
I'm quite happy about it, to be honest.
Yeah,
That's great.
Right. Next one is up. It is for you, Luke. So it's a legal question from Kevin Mann. I got a ticket for an expired vehicle registration recently, and I don't feel like dealing with it. Any formal, official legal advice?
No. Next question.
Any
no
informal
advice.
Deadly Headley, do you have any advice that can't be taken to be legal advice and it can't hurt your profession?
No.
Same.
No, also no. We probably shouldn't advise on that.
Thoughts and prayers.
Don't burn it.
Thoughts and prayers.
No, don't burn it.
Lutrons, who's just left, so I won't catch the answer, but is all of your console catalogue available for you to play on PC Game Pass? Question. If not, their move to PC is going to be rough for the console players left. Yeah, there's like always talk and speculation that they do have the emulation team working on some kind of compatibility solution to bring console games over to the PC space, because the hardware could obviously brute force that and do it. Would make a massive difference if they could, but whether that's real or not, hard to say. So it is a difficult thing. It is precedent as well, like with the handheld, the ROG Ally X. It is something that some people are going to be running into in the very near future. Do you think it's a big problem?
I think that this really goes back to the importance particularly for Xbox console users, but I actually think there's quite a nice overlap of an audience with just straight up PC players with Xbox's next iteration of hardware, because that is really the thing that is going to stitch those two together in a way that PC just doesn't. I do like how much content is available on both console and PC when it comes to Game Pass. I think that's sort of, it's always a bit of an argument that I kind of want to push back on when with the whole Xbox ROG Ally can't play your Xbox games. Yeah, it can't play all of them, but anything that comes out on Xbox now, you're also going to be playing on that. So yeah, it won't play your back catalogue, but anything coming out going forward, you're going to have a lot more of that sort of cross-play, cross-progression type experience. It would be nice to see Microsoft make strides in that space in future, because like I'd love to play my console library on my PC. It would be wicked. I haven't gone in with that expectation, but if that is something that they can deliver in future via emulation or whatever, I feel like that would future-proof my library in a way that console hardware almost sort of doesn't, because I think whatever iteration of hardware I'm going to be playing on, if it's available on PC, if it's achievable on PC, I almost feel like that actually preserves my digital library in a better way than holding on to a console that might fizzle out and die, and then I can't get a replacement for it in like 10, 15 years. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if the next bit of hardware that they're doing that promises to be this console PC hybrid is indeed that and can run like your Steam Win32 apps as well as your Xbox Game ones, then there is potential for them to bring that the other way as well. Like the hardware is going to be doing it, so they'll have the software layer there. Whether they hit any big hurdles on kind of the strict hardware requirements, whether they don't want to bring it to that kind of broader array of hardware because it falls over for some people. We'll see. But I think there's a fair chance. Obviously, there's the third-party licensing issues as well. Oh, who knows? Who knows? We'll wait and see, everybody. We'll wait and see. Luke, what do you reckon?
Yeah.
Are you going to play Brute Force on your PC in the near future?
Oh, I hope so. I really hope so. That would be a dream. That would be a dream. Yeah. Then they could do co-op. They could do 4-player co-op. Then we could all play it.
Oh.
It's totally unrelated to that question, but there's one game that I have wanted to play. It was on the PS1 long time ago, and I haven't played it since. I never owned it on PS1. I only played it around a friend's house. Asa, I may have asked you about this before, Luke. We haven't talked about this. Do you guys remember a game called Team Buddies on the PS1?
I remember you mentioning it. No, I never played it.
No.
I absolutely adored that game. It was really fun. It was like a 4-player, up to 4 players on split screen. And you played essentially a character that looked like someone from Among Us. You would have to go around, collect these little crates, and if you sort of, depending on how many crates you stacked together, you could build a weapon or a vehicle, and you had to sort of try and like steal your enemy's sort of base or take it over or whatever. This sort of generally frustrates me with modern hardware now, because even if I found a physical copy of that game, my PS5 couldn't play that. And that sort of really kind of touches on the broader challenge that we have around game preservation. I have seen that there is I believe it's fan-made, but basically like a fan-made recreation of Team Buddies coming to Steam. If I can play that on my next Xbox in my living room, either online or via split screen, that's going to be amazing. That's going to be fantastic. And it just, I don't know, it's a really like awkward backdoor way of doing that. But yeah, just little sort of weird tangent on a game that basically doesn't exist.
Little tangents on obscure games is good. We love the obscure games as well as the mainstream. Don't worry about it. No, do it. I'm all for it. I'll play it. So, next question is, this is a good one. Do any of you guys multitask whilst gaming, or is it always full focus? Here's a lot of people talk about listening to podcasts or watching sports on another screen whilst they're playing. And Tom, I can answer that straight away. I multitask in the sense that I'm streaming, and it makes me way worse at the games that I'm playing, right? So I'm multitasking because I'm trying to talk to people and trying to read. And if it weren't for that fact, definitely would have got out of Hades in 3 nights and not 15. Besides that, I can't handle other noises. I can handle streaming, I can handle talking to people, but I can't handle playing like a story-driven game or a game that requires focus and having a conversation in my ear at the same time. So I don't multitask in terms of podcasts and things like that. What about you, Deadly Headley?
I do quite a lot, and honestly, I think it's actually a habit that mentally, for my own benefit, I probably should get out of, because I'm just overstimulated a lot by doing that. And actually, when I consciously go, nope, I'm not going to listen to anything, I usually pause podcasts during cutscenes, and I'll listen to it when I'm like, if I'm driving around in a game or riding a horse around a game or whatever, like specifically traversing a world, I will sort of listen to a podcast while I'm doing it. But I would like to put more focus into my game, so it's going to be something that I consciously do less of.
Luke?
Yeah, depends on the game. If it's something narrative heavy, no, I won't be listening or watching anything else. If it's something that, like, the narrative is either not that important, or the kind of music isn't necessarily fundamental to the core experience in the way that it is in some games. And I may multitask, yeah, like I may like listen to some music or I'll have maybe football on, like if it's around something like that. But it really it's super game dependent. So like I don't know, if I was doing say a Hades 2 run, right, apart from that final fucking boss. If I was doing that, like I wouldn't at this point I don't need to fully engross myself in everything that the game is doing. I can listen to something else or concentrate on something else whilst I'm playing the game. But if I was doing the first run on Hades 2, then yeah, no, I wouldn't be multitasking.
I find it weird playing without talking to a stream now. No, I don't. Is that true? I don't know. It's refreshing not to have clothes on. So, downside of streaming, the next question is, how mad will Meta be when they find out I'm calling it a face switch? So this is Isla. She forgot what her quest was called and has been referring to it as a face switch, which I think is explanatory enough, right? It sells it.
Good, yeah.
To be fair, I think Nintendo would be more mad than Meta.
Fuck both of those companies is all I have to say on that. The legal side of Nintendo, not
the entirety of Meta,
the horrible, scary side, and all of Meta.
Soil Tech, what, if any, upgrades have been implemented to Xbox Cloud Service? Do we have server blades? Are we on Azure? Are we still on Series X chips? So, they touted, along with the new benefits of the Ultimate tier of Game Pass, that you get their highest quality of streaming on the Game Pass Ultimate tier. They haven't been explicit in what that means, but it was recently data mined that there are two new kind of performance profiles for it. A higher quality, so a higher bitrate 1080p version, and a potentially a 1440p version of the stream. What they haven't said, but that you'd have to hope and assume, is that traditionally, if you've used Xbox Game Cloud stuff at all in the past, you'll probably notice that you get the Series S version of a game, and it's particularly noticeable. Visually, you might pick up on it straight away just from doing it, but you also, if you happen to dip into a menu of a game that you'd expect to see a kind of performance quality mode, and the Series S version doesn't have it, then it's a dead giveaway. That Deathloop was an example of that one. I played Deathloop and was like, oh, this is definitely 100% the Series S version. That's unfortunately. Typically, you'll get that, right? They haven't said specifically that if you're on the highest tier of Ultimate, then you'll get those chips working in tandem. It's a little bit too much detail probably, but the way that the cloud infrastructure works, the way that the Series consoles work in general, is the chip can be broken up. So an Xbox Series X chip can run as 4 Xbox Series S's essentially in the cloud server infrastructure, which means they get a lot more capacity if they give you the Series S version of the game instead of the Series X version of the game. They haven't told us what we're going to get, and they haven't told us how much it's going to be improved. Nobody's got it in their hands to do side-by-side tests and see how it stacks up against other services yet, but I wouldn't expect kind of GeForce Now kind of quality,
You do also get shorter wait times with Ultimate as well.
That you do. So
it's not worth the money they're charging, but that's fine.
This one says meow, which is not an entire question, so I can't answer it. Can either of you formulate an answer to a question that is just meow with a question mark?
It's got a question mark, so
it does have a question mark.
Could be a question. I don't know. I don't. None of us speak cat, sadly. I wish I did.
So not sure.
No.
That there's anything I can do with that one. I told you to request cats in the question box. That's not a request. You need to be more specific. I can possibly. So I got 2 new kittens yesterday.
No.
And that's probably what this refers to.
What are they called?
They're not yet. I'll take suggestions. There's a little black one, a little grey one, and we haven't decided what's called them yet. So they're just the little black one and the little grey one at the moment until we decide. The little black one is very, very attentive, and I can probably go and grab him right now. The grey one, on the other hand, a bit more difficult. He likes to hide. So,
how old are they?
That's when I got them.
How old? They're 9 weeks. Let me go grab the black one. You talk to people about games and stuff. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
This cat's about to be held against its will.
No, it's not against this one. No, this one will accidentally bump into a friggin' sofa and purr its head off. It loves attention. So give it a sec.
Luke, have you played Jump Space or Jump Ship? Sorry, it's not called Jump.
Oh
Space.
they changed the name, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Every time.
I haven't. But this is Sea of Thieves kind of in space, isn't it? This is that game. And no, I haven't. But I actually do want to because it does look. Oh, there it is.
He's an escapey little cat. He's a cute one, and the other one is massively cute as well. Oh, it's a new room, tiny. Isn't it? It is tiny. Yeah. Oh, it's never been in here, so it wants to run away. To
go and explore and smell stuff.
Just avoid.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got two. The other one's tiny bit bigger than this little fella, and he's grey, but I won't get him because, So I'm going to put him back so he can fight with the other. Oh, shoot him before he escaped. Yeah, that's a kitten.
He's very cute.
Yeah,
very, very cute.
He's very cute.
Yeah, Jump Ship is cool. I've played a little bit of it. I played some of it with Sika Mechanico from Xbox Era and another guy from their community as well. I've played a lot more solo, to be honest, and it is so much more fun with a crew. It needs a crew. I think if you or anyone else listening, if you're thinking about checking it out, it's best consumed with friends for sure.
This is a more shy one. He also wants to say hello to the internet.
Oh
yeah.
God.
His face.
I did hear him squeak just then.
He does. Yeah, he's a little boy.
Yeah.
He's a bit less.
Are they
a bit less confident?
Related? Are they related?
They're not related. No, we got them on the same day though. So got them home and they just hiss at each other. Yeah, a little squeak. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe when they're a bit older, we'll train them and they can race against my cats. We'll see who are the real champions.
How old are your cats?
Well, my cats are definitely lose because they're both nearly 10.
Ah, okay.
So, which isn't, super old for the cat world, but, it's mature.
Calling coward and wanker. That's not bad. I'm not going to do that.
In their 50s.
They are both stealthy by nature.
They are, but I can't call them coward and wanker.
Why not?
You can. You probably
you
just
can.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, you're
not frowned upon, but you could do it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. Asa, have you played Jump Ship? Have you played any?
No. Jonathan from Burly Bird likes to talk about that game. Has played it a fair amount and says good things about it. But no, I haven't got on it yet. Have you?
Yeah. I was just saying to Luke, I quite like it. It needs you do need to play it with a crew. You do need to play it with people. But yeah, I quite like it. I think it's cool.
Okay, well we'll get a crew together and we'll give it a go then. So sounds good to me. I think assuming that was the last of the questions, I think we'll start to wrap up there and go and get some food. Not Luke, he's had plenty. Have you? Yeah. Yeah, you have. No, you started talking about food. Me and Deadly Headley were both waiting for our dinners, and you started talking about your amazing Japanese food. But that doesn't mean that you've eaten today. So who knows what's going on?
Could be starving. You don't know.
It could be. I apologise, Brian. Yes, I've heard lots of people calling it Sea of Thieves in space. In that it's got some physicality to it, right? You have to do everything quite manually on the ship, as far as I know. I think that's probably more or less where the similarities end, because I don't think it's got the whole like other players in the environment immersion gameplay thing going on, but it's a co-op game where you have to run around doing various tasks on the ship. So as I understand it, /planet /exploring, the stuff that's in the game.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. We'll stream it. We'll talk about it some more once it's done. So we'll wrap up there. Deadly Headley, please say to everybody that is here with us whatever you want to say.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out with us. I don't have anything to promote. IRL is still kind of a bit ridiculous at the moment. But we'll settle down shortly, I'm sure. I might stream some stuff this month. I'm not sure. I'll let you know if I do. That's it. That's the shittest outro ever. Sorry.
Oh, I've definitely heard worse. I've definitely delivered worse myself. So that is all good. Luke, set the bar low. Where are you going to go, higher or lower?
I'm not going to
very,
raise
very
it.
low.
I'm not going to raise it. So, pleasure as usual. Go on the Discord. Look at my pictures of Japanese food and be sad with me that we're not experiencing it.
Fair. I think that's it. Okay, good. Mine is similar. I'll be around in the usual places. I'll be streaming on the other channel that I've been doing quite a lot of. There will be Q&A, so we will be back with the Arcadia Roundtable in some capacity next week. There's other things going on. There will be a Hades 2 review. You can probably ignore it because none of you can play it like I can. Brag. But I'm joking. And there's some other things as well. A couple of other games will get a bit of coverage this week if I can get to it. So lots of things to look for. Please do stay subscribed and all the kind of things that YouTube people are supposed to ask for. You know, I'm not good at that, but hit all the buttons. And thanks for coming. See you next time. Bye.